I'm Mega Mike the Movie Man, and today I got a mega movie plan. Mega Mike the Movie Man back with another mega ranking for you all. Today I'm going to be ranking all 8 live action Spider-Man movies. I'm going to rank them from the worst to the best. So without further ado, let's get started.
I am issuing an arrest warrant for the masked vigilante known as Spider-Man.
I'm in trouble.
So coming in last place is going to be The Amazing Spider-Man. Wow, this movie is a snooze fest. And this is the worst kind of movie, a movie that is boring. I choose this movie the least often to go back and watch out of the Spider-Man series. The Lizard just isn't a great villain here. He just doesn't look the part. Where is his lizard snout? It's not there. He does not look like anything from out of the comics. And worst of all, his plot is lame. All he wants to do is turn everybody else into lizard people. Wow. We got to move on from this one. Let's go on.
Hey, Parker.
This could be the end of Spider-Man.
We have to forgive each other. Or everything we ever were will mean nothing.
Now, second to last is going to be Spider-Man 3. Wow, this is not a good movie here. And we were all so hyped to see this one. But really, Topher Grace as Venom just does not work at all. Not menacing, not the Venom we wanted. Sandman, he had great potential. But once they bring in all the other villains, wow, just gets overstuffed way too much. Does not work. And really, Peter Parker dancing on the streets, trying to be cool. Nope. This one just doesn't work.
My name is Richard Parker. I have discovered what Oscorp was going to use my research for.
What is all this?
The future. We have plans for you, Peter Parker. You wanted to be the hero.
Need a hand?
Now you gotta pay the price. We have the power.
And then at number 6 is going to be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. At first, seeing the trailers, I was so pumped for this movie. Everything looked so cool. But then once again, has that Spider-Man 3 syndrome. Overstuffing the movie with way too many villains, way too many plot stories. It gets so confusing. It's just way too much. I know they're trying to set up Sinister Six, but come on, we gotta keep the focus here. We don't get to connect to any main character, any main villain here. It just doesn't work. So even though there's some cool things going on screen, Electro powers look cool. The Green Goblin tower sequence where he drops Gwen Stacy is very impactful. So there's some cool highlight moments here. That's why it's not very last on my list, but way too sloppy, way too much of a mess. And Rhino, just no. Just no.
Look, there has to be another way.
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
Finally, now we get to talk about some good Spider-Man movies. So at number 5 is going to be Spider-Man No Way Home. Now I know a lot of people absolutely love this movie, and I think this is a very solid, entertaining film. But it gets number 5 just because the plot is a little contrived with Doctor Strange messing up a spell from a kid. And then it does get a little overstuffed, even though not all the villains here are waste, but Sandman, the Lizard, complete bench warmers. So even though Dr. Octopus, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, Jamie Foxx's Electro, those characters all work really well, just not every character they brought into this movie is absolutely amazing. So I had to take some points off for that. And then also the tone gets a little bit dark and just the lighting gets really stale in the middle of the movie and it starts to slow down. So even though the beginning's great, the ending's great, the middle just kind of slows it down a little bit for me. So that's why it's at number 5. Still a very solid, entertaining, fun movie.
Nick Fury just hijacked our summer vacation.
Awesome.
You got gifts, Parker, but you have a job to do. Are you going to step up or not? alone. Your friends are in trouble. What are you going to do about it?
Now, at number 4 is going to be Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm so glad they brought in Mysterio as the villain here and did him justice. He is so cool. He was updated enough for this setting with the awesome illusion projection equipment and creating the elementals, but they still kind of kept some of the classic look with the fishbowl on the head, and that was awesome to see. And it's just a fun movie with all the different relationships in here with Peter Parker and MJ, and then his friend's relationship, and Ned is great as always. And then the explanation of the blip, I thought that was really fun. So overall, I think the story plot worked here great, made perfect sense, and it was a lot of fun seeing that international travel over into Europe. So great job there.
Are there like trials or an interview?
Do me a favor. Can't you just be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Just stay close to the ground.
You're the Spider-Man from YouTube.
Now getting into number 3, what I consider the really great Spider-Man movies is going to be Spider-Man Homecoming. Wow, this was awesome seeing the Vulture played by Michael Keaton. He was just so menacing, and how he scavenged the equipment of the Avengers Fallout. I thought that was such a cool way to tie in this villain, and this is such a fun high school story with this type of Peter Parker and Spider-Man character, and it just felt kind of like a John Hughes movie from the 80s combining with a superhero movie. So just seeing how Peter Parker's dealing with all the high school stuff, and then he has to deal with the Vulture, and then they even bring in Iron Man to help assist and mentor Peter Parker. I mean, that just makes for some really fun moments, and there's a lot of powerful messages in here. I just think this one is a great addition to the Spider-Man universe.
Not everyone is meant to make a difference, but for me, the choice to live an ordinary life is no longer an option.
Now to get into number 2 is going to be the original Spider-Man. Yes, the one to kickstart it all. This was such a great movie when it came on the scene. It was so impactful. Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker was just that relatable guy. Even though he was an outcast and he was nerdy, we connected to him as an audience. And to see him gain those Spider-Man powers, but to keep with that message from Uncle Ben that with great power comes great responsibility, oh, that was so powerful. And then one of the best villains of all time with Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, so menacing, and just the expressions he did with his eyes, just completely terrifying. Wow, such a down-to-earth Spider-Man story, something that was a little bit more realistic, not very fantasy-like. It was just such a great start. Wow, kudos to Spider-Man 1 for kicking it off.
You look different.
I let things get in the way before. There was something I thought I had to do. I don't have to.
I liked seeing you tonight, Peter.
Now on to the main event.
Octavius is going to put Oscorp on the map in a way my father never even dreamed of.
Crazy scientist turns himself into some kind of a monster. 4 mechanical arms welded right onto his body.
You take Spider-Man's pictures. Where is he?
It's taking me off your loyalty to Spider-Man and not your best friend.
Now the number 1 greatest Spider-Man movie of all time absolutely has to be Spider-Man 2. I consider this not just a great Spider-Man movie, but one of the greatest superhero movies ever made still to this day. Wow, this movie does everything well that Spider-Man 1 does, but just takes it up another level. Seeing how Peter Parker is still dealing with all these issues of balancing being Spider-Man and just a normal human, dealing with college life and a job, is just such a fantastic storyline. And then combining in the Spider-Man No More story of how he gives up being Spider-Man, that way he can just live his life as a human being. But then he realizes No, people do truly appreciate him, and he is a hero, and he is needed, and so he comes back. Wow, such a great redemption story. And then Dr. Octopus, played by the great Alfred Molina. Wow, this is a fantastic villain. Does a great job connecting us to that character, starting as Dr. Octavius, and that connection with Peter Parker, a brilliant scientist, but then something goes haywire, and then he's such a terrifying villain, and he has his Dr. Octopus tentacle arms, and there are some amazing action sequences in this movie. Just the train sequence alone is one of the best action sequences in any superhero movie. Wow, this movie is so emotional, so action packed, still down to earth, tons of fun, and just leaves a lasting impact on everyone that sees it. That is why Spider-Man number 2 is the best Spider-Man movie of all time.
Bring Spider-Man to me.
How do I find him?
Peter Parker.
Find Spider-Man, or I'll peel the flesh off her bones.
There are bigger things happening here than me and you.
So that will do it for today's mega ranking of all the live action Spider-Man movies. Let me know in the comments below, what are your favorite live action Spider-Man movies? Is your list different than mine? Let's have those conversations down below, and also like the video. And if you're discovering my channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe. That way I can get you all that future movie ranking, movie review, movie haul, and movie news content. Here we talk all things movies, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that entertainment. And this is Mega Mike the Movie Man reminding you to make every day a movie day.